So take these first few moments to find what would feel comfortable in today's body. Whether that's laying down on your back or seated, leaning against a wall. And utilizing props to support you so that anything that doesn't need to be held by you can be held by a prop. And as you close your eyes and begin to turn your gaze inwards, just become aware of your breath. And without manipulating or trying to breathe in any certain way, just notice how you're breathing and how it feels. Notice if there's any obstructions or tension that's getting in the way of your breath. And just take that as information or data so that you can adjust your posture or place your hands on your body where you feel a little more love or attention is needed. And then meet your breath once again. Noticing how your breath is constantly changing. And how we can be intimately in connection to our breath, yet totally detached at the same time. Tuning you into your natural ability to flow. To witness sensation and these moments without jumping into story or holding on, rather just noticing. And as you move inward, it's so important to create the safe container of self-compassion. We do that with mindfulness, of being willing to really notice what arises, to be curious and even in awe of our humanness. And to recognize that feeling and struggle and suffering is a part of being human. And because certain emotions and stories can somewhat take on a life of their own, as if they're a character we step into, it's also important to make sure that you are bringing in some self-kindness. And that might show up in soothing self-talk, of reassuring yourself, using your name as you address, yeah, this is hard. Or, yeah, it's okay to feel this. Or, I got you. I'm not going anywhere. So perhaps that becomes an aura around you, or it's the lens that you're perceiving through. An overall energy and reminder so that you continually can move in beneath the surface of what you're noticing with curiosity, with patience, with kindness. So as you feel your breath, let's begin to track through your body, like an inventory. We're just noticing what you feel. And there's no sensation that's too small or too subtle to be felt. It might start with the most obvious of what you're hearing and how that vibrates in your inner ear. Or the sensation of your hands on your body, or the position your body is in space. And as you allow your awareness to just move through you, to just notice, it often also goes to what is the loudest or the most uncomfortable, which is a really brilliant mechanism of our ability to survive. So as you notice sensation, whether it's pleasurable or painful, comfortable, uncomfortable, intense or subtle, just turn towards it and meet it with thank you. And as you continue to breathe in a calm, steady manner, and continue to turn towards anything that arises with a thank you. You're building your ability to trust your mind and body's innate intelligence. When we get out of our own way, our system can reorganize. It can reappraise. It can reframe. It can change the story we're living into. Now, as you allow these next few breaths to move and flow through you, just take a moment to recognize what state you're currently in. Perhaps there's an emotion at the surface, or maybe even an overall level of calm. Maybe you're feeling distracted or anxious. It's just taking a moment to really formulate, recognize, what state am I in? Is there an emotion that's at the surface? And whatever you're noticing, now move deeper to identify it. Now, where do you feel the most sensation in your body right now? And if possible, as you're noticing sensation, Just holding it, being so curious, meeting it with love and compassion. Perhaps it becomes clear of ways to describe it. Is it deep? Is it in one area of your body? Or is it moving? Or is it throughout your whole body? Does it have a temperature? Is it dense? Is it hollow? Heavy? Light? Sharp? Does it vibrate? Does it pulse? Is there tingles, crackles, lightning? And as you hold space to just see it, as it becomes more clear, you can now track it. Just watching how it wants to move, where it goes. Without any agenda, you're not trying to fix it or heal it or even understand it. You're trusting its innate intelligence and you're getting out of the way, holding space for it. And at any point, if you find you've become distracted, you've jumped out of your body, just notice that. You're human. It's okay. Your wise, intelligent system is trying to protect you, so you can even meet that distraction with, thank you. And then you move back to your breath. Back to recognizing your state. Identifying what you feel. And tracking it. I'm just going to give you space for about a minute. Just move through that process. Practice. Breathe. Be willing to feel unconditionally. And now to practice the expansion of your perspective. Perhaps there is an emotion that is already at the surface or that was recurring with something that you were noticing or something that you're just curious about. And that might be anger, or it could be anything else. Choosing one sensation or emotion that has kind of been a pattern or theme recently. And as if your body is the house of your being, and this anger or other emotion has just knocked on the door and you meet it. You open the door and you invite it in. And just take a moment to really feel and see this emotion. Noticing where you feel it most in your body. And it might come with memories or a certain tone of thought. And to just observe that. Allow that to be a part of this visitor. Really seeing it. Recognizing that it's trying to protect you. Just meet it with love and your presence and your willingness to feel it. And as you curiously inspect and feel this emotion or sensation, take a moment to reflect and ask, what would be the opposite of this today? And once you really land on what feels like the opposite, and there's no perfect answer, there's no right or wrong. This is completely exploration and practice. And once you land on it, you've sent out an invite for this to now come to your little dinner party. It knocks on the door and you meet it and you invite it in. And now it's you, the observer, and these two visitors. And whatever else comes along, there might be confusion, or more curiosity, or frustration, distraction. Just meet those. Yeah, you're welcome too. Totally inclusive and curious to see how this party plays out when you just hold space and breathe and observe. And as these two first visitors now sit at your table, can you feel for the balance where they're both honored? They're both seen and loved and felt. Neither one of them on a pedestal or more important. Yet in honoring both, there's an emergent property. These two opposing forces lean in, create balance and equanimity. And perhaps an emergent quality of freedom or trust or wisdom or calm. Just hold space to notice what arrives as these two are honored and in balance. Be with your breath as it moves through your body. Take a moment here to pause and just see if there's anything else that comes up in terms of of what might be needed or how you could address this experience. Knowing that sometimes just the practice of holding space is addressing it on its own. And you might be aware that there's a certain basic need that you haven't been honoring, that maybe you need more of. Or a new sensation or emotion that you've realized you've been ignoring or that you want to cultivate more of. You can create a little plan of how you could do that or what that would look like today. Or maybe a little reminder that packages this experience so that later on today, if you're feeling low or feeling stuck, that this potent reminder will tap you back into what you're feeling right now. Now allow the next 3 breaths to be the deepest, fullest breaths of your day. Let some sound out on your exhale. And then invite in some gentle movement, soothing your body with some mindful, medicinal, somatic movement. And this might lead you into a yoga practice or a longer meditation or putting pen to paper. Just allowing each time you listen to this that you be guided by what feels pleasurable, what feels good, what feels needed today.